Yes, villagers. Today we're going to be talking about self-compassion because you shouldn't beat yourself up. We got 4 ways for you to have greater self-compassion. If you want to find out if your view is reflected, you are in the right place. If you're new to this channel, welcome to our village. If you're a returning villager, welcome as well. So, let's get into it. Welcome to Garden of the Mind, where we reduce stress, improve our health and fitness, and improve our financial IQ every episode. We must believe more than we see. My Uncle Carlton says, if you want to beat yourself up, use a feather. Oftentimes we beat ourselves up and there's no point to it. It doesn't help us at all. It just goes to make us feel worse about whatever it is that we are doing, and no lessons are gained. Tip number 1, make the best choice that you can with the information that you have at the time. There's a saying that I hear all the time. People say, if I knew then what I know now, and my response is always, then you'd make different mistakes. The bottom line is we can't know everything at any one time. So every single decision that we make leaves a blind spot. Most of the times we don't realize that there are these blind spots until we make a decision. When we make a decision, we see the imperfectness of that decision and feel that we should have made maybe another decision. Now that's kind of the same dynamic with the grass is always greener on the other side. So whatever choice that you make, it always seems like maybe you should have chose the other choice because you see the blind spots of that individual choice once you make it. There was a saying called Monday morning quarterback, and Monday morning quarterback came from the fact that the football games would be played on Sunday night, but on Monday, every single person who watched the game would have a different idea of what the quarterback should have done. But that was only after having the benefit of seeing the blind spots of his mistake. If they were on the court at that time on Sunday night, there would have inevitably been mistakes made by that new choice and now would have left blind spots for someone else to criticize. So we have to basically just stick our stick in the mud, make a decision, stick to it, and deal with the consequences. Tip number 2, we have to reevaluate how we look at mistakes. Most of the times we look at mistakes as if there's something to be hidden or ashamed of. But if you make no mistakes, that means you learn nothing. So mistakes are the cost of a good lesson. So if we look at the mistakes as a way for us to learn and to access that truth in those spots of knowledge that we don't know, then that's just the cost of doing business. What we want to try to avoid is making the same mistake over and over again. But understand, if you do make the same mistake over and over again, or even similar mistakes, be patient with yourself. When you make mistakes, the point is to learn something from the mistake and move on, and not to stick inside the mistake and beat yourself up over it. They were highlighting the fact that it took Thomas Edison about 1,000 different tries before he finally learned how to make the light bulb. And his response was, well, it didn't take me 1,000 times. I learned 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. So we have to reframe our thinking and have our thinking and our mistakes work for our benefit and not to our detriment. Tip number 3, realize the source of the voice of negativity that's beating you up in your head. Oftentimes that could come from a parent, a trusted individual, or an environment in which you surround yourself in. And that environment is usually a very critical environment. And with criticism, that usually involves pointing fingers. But when we point one finger at someone, we have 3 fingers pointed back at ourselves. So once we start to use the weapon of criticism, it doesn't just go towards the outside. It also comes back inside, and then we can be less forgiving of ourselves when we make certain mistakes. Tip number 4, realize that you are enough. You are smart enough. You are pretty enough. You are handsome enough. You are enough in every single capacity. Where you are is exactly where you are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be any further along, because if you look at things from that lens, then you feel like you may be behind. Now, even the experts, make mistakes, and even the experts may not feel like experts in certain areas of their life. It's important for us to understand that we are human, and no matter how perfect we try to be, we'll always make mistakes, and we have to accept that. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post, which is Wednesday, my apologies for last Wednesday, click on that notification, you get that ding on your phone, and you know that a new video is waiting for you. And remember, thoughts are actions, words have power, and actions have consequences. I'll see you next week. Take care.